I hope you all enjoyed looking at those images. We have some incredibly talented people, if you don't already know, in the RASC. And those are lovely videos. We have opened this up to our YouTube live stream. So hello, YouTube family, friends and family. And we are going to get started on the second half of our webinar, shooting for the moon and celebrating the moon and RASC and everyone across Canada on this wonderful International Astronomy Day. And to get us off, because I'm decided to be very formal, we have an opening video for this. So it's our, let me just get started.
Time is X minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So welcome to the party. While we are getting started on this, I'm just going to ask whoever is tuning in live from RASC Victoria, if you could just throw your name in the chat to let us know who we are. But welcome to our Shooting for the Moon webinar. We're going to quickly reintroduce ourselves for all those people on YouTube. My name's Samantha. I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator here at RASC National, and I have been coordinating this webinar based on our lovely volunteers' ideas and just to celebrate Canada and this International Astronomy Day. And we also have...
Is that my cue?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Alendria. I'm the editor-in-chief of Sky News magazine, Canada's astronomy and space magazine, which I have a copy here. And it's owned by the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. So, a little bit earlier, Alendria asked me, what is my favorite part of the Artemis missions, or the moon and lunar exploration in general? And we actually went out and asked other people this. For those of you who are tuning in that didn't hear David St. Jacques' talk, humanity is going back to the moon. We have 3-stage missions, starting with Artemis 1. Is just going to be a test of all the equipment with no humans. It's going to loop around the moon and come back. That is happening this summer, which is why we are doing these celebrations. Artemis 2, which is in 2024, we're going to have a Canadian on it, and it's going to do a similar path as Artemis 1, except it's going to have humans. And then Artemis 3, which I think is 2025, but don't quote me on these because you know how dates get shifted around. We're going to have the first woman and person of color on the moon. All of this is going towards having a lunar base, which I like to call a lunar campsite, but like a decked out lunar campground, and I would love to go to that campground. And we're also going to have a space station, which is going to be a waypoint for the people going down to the lunar base, as well as hopefully in the future for when we just start to travel to Mars and a science area. It's going to be 1/6 the size of the ISS, and it's going to travel around. So we asked some people, and we got lots of responses, particularly the youth, because my favorite thing, Alendria, is the fact that I was always jealous of my parents being able to see the Apollo missions and watch the astronaut landing, and I didn't get something like that in my lifetime. I mean that's a lot. I got to see a JWST, but to see someone on the moon, Chris Hadfield inspired me to get into astronomy with the ISS, and just it's super exciting. So I really wanted to hear what our young RASC members loved about the moon. So we had Martin, Amelia, and Benjamin send in a lovely video talking about what they want. They are excited about the moon, and I'm going to share it now. So, and I think they are watching live here. So hello. Thank you for sending this video in.
I think it would be cool to go on the moon, because we might find life and we would know what to do about it.
And why I would want to go on the moon is because I'm really interested in the rover and how if it'll still work if they go up there and try to fix it or something if it's broken.
Oh, you mean the old one that the
Yeah, the old
astronauts did before? Oh, yeah.
I'm curious about the space station and how it's going to be made and who's going to live there and how.
And I'm really interested of what people would be like and kids to be able to be sent up to the moon, because lots of people would probably have great ideas to make awesome new toys and different things for up there that include not that much gravity, so you could bounce really high and stuff like that and jump really high.
Oh, that would be cool.
I would like to see the flag.
Oh, the old flag that they put up there a long time ago?
Yeah, the old flag.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would just be historical and pretty cool to see that it hasn't even changed.
Thank you for sharing that video of Ben, Amelia, and Martin. So we also, as I said, this night is going around the country and saying what we love and talking about what we're seeing and our star parties and everything. And so we had a video sent in from Tim Jaworski in Saskatchewan talking about his memories of Apollo, because as we said, Artemis is the sister missions of Apollo, and what he thinks about the moon and his experience throughout his lifetime as well. And following that, we will be jumping into some live views from RASC Victoria. So sorry, not Tim Jaworski. That is my fault. David Levy is going to talk about who, if you don't know, has a book that we sell with RASC about his experience and journey as a night watch. What do you remember the title of the book?
Night Watchman's Journey. So David Levy is a comet hunter, He was one of the co-discoverers of shoemaker Levy. Which number was that? But basically the comet that fell into pieces and crashed into Jupiter. A kind of world famous event, world famous solar system famous event. So David Levy is just a wonderful human being, fantastic person to speak about astronomy, and I'm glad that we have some words from him tonight.
Thank you so much, Alondra. I am sorry. I have these videos numbered and I can't get them straight, apparently. So I appreciate it. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to share this time with you with this brief video that I have prepared. I wish I could be there in person with you, but unfortunately I'm unable to being here in Arizona, and so we have to communicate this way. We're celebrating the new and exciting, hopefully, trip to the moon. Although I find it a little difficult to get excited for a program that's taking about 10 times as long as the first one did, I do remember being alive and a lot younger than now when that first one took place. And I remember where I was, as most of the older people in the audience today would remember, on the 20th of July, 1969. I was working at a summer camp. I was a camp counselor at a place on Lake Placid called Camp Minnowbrook. And we all went into the auditorium to watch the launching of Apollo 11 on the 16th of July. We all went to the auditorium to watch the landing on the moon on the 20th of July that morning. And at dinner time, the head counselor got up and he announced that there'd be a normal program that night of pre-play and other things, whatever the campers wanted to do. After he was finished his announcement, I went up to the head counselor and I suggested that it might be an idea instead to go back to the auditorium to watch the moonwalk, which was scheduled for early evening, our Eastern time. And the head counselor looked at me and he very gruffly said, "Go back to the table, be with your kids and do your job." And he stormed away, which is what I did. I went back to the table. I think that the owner of the camp, Lothar Epstein, overheard that encounter, because 2 minutes later, he stood up at the center of the dining room and called for everyone's attention. And he said, "Evening program canceled. After dinner, we are all going directly to the auditorium, and we're going to watch the moonwalk, all of us." He said, "History is going to be made tonight, and I want us to be part of it." Boy, was he ever. We all went up there, couldn't have been more excited. We stood, we sat on our chairs, and it was a long evening because there were interviews. We were watching Walter Cronkite on a very small television set, black and white television set on a chair. Everyone was watching that. And it was kind of coming and going, and sometimes there was a little noise in the auditorium. And then suddenly the camera turned to Neil Armstrong on the porch of the LEM, the lunar module. And everyone got silent. He said he's going down the ladder, and as he stepped onto the surface, the auditorium was absolutely silent. And then we heard Armstrong say, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." I've never forgotten that night, and I'm hoping to have another moment as glorious as that one is when we finally step on the moon, hopefully to stay, in the future years. I'm going to do a little poem tonight. It's because very soon there's going to be an eclipse of the moon that we can all be seeing, and that's coming very soon, this month in fact. And this poem goes as such. Thy shadow, earth, from pole to central sea, now steals along the moon's meek shine, in even monochrome and curving line of imperturbable serenity. How shall I link such sun-cast symmetry with the torn, troubled form I know as thine, that profile, placid as a brow divine, with continents of moil and misery? And can immense mortality but throw so small a shade, and heaven's high human scheme be hemmed within the coasts yon arc implies? Is such the stellar gauge of earthly show? Nation at war with nation, brains that teem, heroes and women fairer than the skies. Thank you very much, and here's to the moon.
Thank you so much, David, for sharing with us. We love to hear. I just love hearing, as I said, people who have experienced Apollo, and then being able to see that we will get that moment in the future. Okay, so we have a special guest. As our first special guest, we will have Rask Victoria. We're going to tune into their live star party. So I am going to, we have David Lee here, and you are, hold on. There we are. Hello, David. The floor is yours for the next 5-ish minutes.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I don't know how much I can get in here. I want to wish everybody a happy Astronomy Day from Rask Victoria. Unfortunately, we are cloudy. So I actually have a couple of video clips, short ones, from two really avid lunar observers. So I hope you enjoy them. So let me just start here. Will I be able to share?
Yeah, you should have all the permission.
All right. Thank you. Unfortunately, some technical difficulties here. Just a second here. Actually, could you just give me a few minutes? Could you move ahead and let me resolve this? Great.
Yes,
sorry.
Sure. No worries.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut his screen off for a second. Sorry, this is just to cut his screen. Okay, so what we're actually going to talk about now then will be Canada's place, what Canada is doing. So Canada actually, because we didn't get Apollo. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to remove pins and everything. Here we go. Okay, now I get to share my screen.
I'm okay.
You're good now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good now.
There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, how come I'm not seeing the screen? Just a second. Ah, there we go.
Hi, David.
Hi.
So,
Hi, Randy.
this is my setup for sketching the moon, and we have a beautiful thumbnail moon tonight. So, I've got my Omcom, a Canadian-built telescope, but it's a bit of a Frankenscope because it's a completely different mount, and it's got a different focuser and a different starfinder. But I also built, to move it along, a nudger, this little electronic circuit here. Every time I press it, then it moves the telescope so that the moon stays in the center of my image. Right now, I've got an eyepiece with about 150 times magnification, so I don't quite see the whole moon, which is perfect. And as I'm looking at this little crescent, I'm sketching a crater called Legendre. I don't know if you can see that. Can you get me in the right position?
Just tilt it a little way this way. Perfect.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Anyway, so that is what I do. I draw on gray paper, so I can do the highlights and the shadows with white and with black. And I just love it. I never get tired.
Wonderful.
I've been doing this for, I guess, about 4 years. I've been sketching the moon, and I keep finding new things. So I like to say, the more you look, the more you see. Seeing what you see and trying to get it, to catch it. Some parts I put more attention on. So that crater there is called Legendre, and there's Bessel. And it's a very, very thin crescent moon. And it's not one that you often get to look at because it sets so early. But it's just beautiful today. So I have my black pencils, I have my highlights, nicely caught by the sun there. And then I use a different pencil for my background. This is a 2B softer pencil so that I can get the background going. And I just do this because I'm not going to draw in everywhere with the black.
And you can see the moon was visible that night.
Beautiful view.
On May 2nd,
Yeah,
on
this is
southern
Bill here.
Vancouver Island, the skies cleared for a short period of time, so I grabbed my 4-inch refractor and threw it in the car and headed to the location in my little southern Vancouver Island community, which has the best view to the west. There were two objects. There was the thin crescent, slightly under 2-day-old moon, and I knew that Mercury at greatest eastern elongation would be just to the west of it. So I set up in the cricket pitch, and the moon was beautiful, thin crescent, lots of detail to see. I never could pick out Mercury out of the clouds, although later, scanning through my photos, I could see that it was playing hide and seek with me in those thin clouds to the southwest of it, just southwest of the moon. Nonetheless, it was a very enjoyable evening. I've always enjoyed the moon. It's what's there whenever it's not dark enough to do deep sky stuff. And I just take out my little 6-inch Dobsonian telescope and my beat up old Ruckles Atlas and work my way up and down the Terminator, just seeing what I can see. I've never actually worked a real project around the moon, but I've probably seen as many features as anybody has that's done a project. It's just take out the book and see what you can see. Another fun thing I did with the moon was at the General Assembly last year, Clark Muir from the History Committee did a little talk about how he'd built a replica Galileo telescope and had worked his way through the Galileo's sidereal messenger. So I knew that a member of our Victoria Center, Colin Scarf, had built a 27 millimeter replica of one of Galileo's telescopes. So I've actually had a hold of it for almost the last year now, where I've been looking at things, and I've observed Jupiter many times, Saturn, Venus, many of the Messier objects actually, which Galileo wouldn't have known about. But one thing I did one evening in December was I took the scope and worked my way at trying to see what I could see. Although I observed the moon many times, this time I decided I was going to sketch it. And so when it was about a 3/4 moon, I did the best I could of renditioning what you would see through a little telescope like that. And it's kind of interesting because the field of view is quite small. You only really see about a quarter of the surface of the moon at a time. So it's patching things together and getting the orientation right. I've done a comparison with it with my 6-inch telescope where I did an aperture mask. And so I think that this telescope gives you about a 15 to 20 times magnification view. So it's it's really good. And I'm really surprised at how much detail you can actually see with just a tiny little increase in aperture over our own eyeball. So 27 millimeters, if we've got a 6 to 7 millimeter pupil, you know, it's not really that much more aperture than our own eye, but just that little bit brings out all the more detail. And that was one of the things that Galileo used really to change our view of ourselves within the universe, when he saw that the moon wasn't a just flat sphere and that there was actually contours and details and little mountains. And so I really encourage people, with whatever you have out there, to look at the moon, even if it was something as simple as, you know, like opera glasses, which are really about the same as this telescope. You could really see a lot on the moon. So get out there and look at the moon. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We also just got notification that there is some people up on the hill there in Victoria. So I'm going to get Lori to come on. I think that's who I should be. Lori, if you're here, I'm promoting you up to panelist. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Lori, hello.
She'll be there soon.
I'm going to pin her. Oh,
wow, there we go. They're very busy setting up for tonight.
Hello.
Ah, look at that.
Oh, we can't hear you too well. Lori, you're muted. Lori, muted.
And frozen.
Oh, there we are. Are we gonna unmute?
I think so.
All right.
Yay!
Hey.
Sorry. Okay, we're trying a whole bunch of different things here. We are up here at the center of the universe. This is the building that is in with the Dominion Astrophysical Observatory, which is outside here. I've got Dave Payne, who is our first vice president of the RASC, and I'm one of the members. We've just had a glorious day at the museum in Victoria, where we had about 800 people, maybe something like that, have come by and did all kinds of things with presentations, and we had telescopes and we had kids crafts and we had everything going on at the same time. It was absolutely wonderful. And then we all drove frantically down the highway and are here to be part of the webinar. Unfortunately, we have very cloudy skies. As David said, there's no moon. There's just like absolutely nothing that we can show you out there. So we're glad that Bill and Randy were able to show you a little bit. But we just wanted to say hi from Victoria, and we're just actually getting ready to have a star party up here on the hill for the first time since December of 2019. So this is 2.5 years, and today is our night. We are expecting volunteers to come just in a few minutes, And then the people will be starting to come up in just about an hour or so. So we're really looking forward to that after such a long time of being closed. So we're thinking, oh, Bill, come on over here. Where, Bill? Here's Bill in person who was doing the sketching. Here are the work. There he is. There he is. Okay, so we'll just say hello from Victoria and happy International Astronomy Day to everybody. And we hope everybody has much better clear skies than we do here.
Happy Astronomy Day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Hello. Have a good star party.
We will. Thank you.
I guess I better start heading up to the hill.
Yeah, David, gotta go to the star party now. Bye, all. Have a good
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
And I'm going to, David, you're going. Okay. Sorry for the freezing. So, there was our first guest appearance. That's the first of many tonight. I don't see our friends from RASC Toronto here yet, so we're going to pop right on. We have another reflection video, this time from a 13-year-old from RASC Toronto Centre, and we're going to see what she feels about it. And then we are going to move on and have Alendria talk about how you can view the moon and the tools that you have available to you as GRASS members and just the general public. So let me just get this reflection video up. Sorry.
It's been brought to my attention that they're going to be making a moon base and a space station, so that's pretty awesome. Establishing a base on the moon is pretty important, in my opinion, because you need a home base to be able to set up scientific research and everything. Like, you need a place where you get all the information, collect it, and then do that actual research. I also think it's pretty important that actual humans are doing the research, because if robots do it, they won't have stories to tell. People who do TV and everything, they interview astronauts, and if they interviewed a robot, it would be so boring and horrible for people to watch.
I like that last point she makes at the end. The human aspect, I think, really is what makes us all care about this stuff. If we just, like, everyone's excited about James Webb Space Telescope, we're getting a lot of good stuff, but we actually get to see people and us there, which is the most exciting thing. However, until then, we still can look at it. And Alendria, I'm going to let you tell them all what Sky News and RASC has to offer.
Hi. Okay. Pardon me. So in our most recent issue of Sky News, the May-June issue, we have a couple of pages that are dedicated to the upcoming lunar eclipse. So May 15th, for most of us here, it's May 15th in Eastern Daylight Time and pretty much all of the Canadian time zones, when the lunar eclipse begins. And so this is going to be a total eclipse of the full flower moon. It's actually a full flower super moon. And so that just means the moon's closer to us, looks a little bit bigger than average. And yeah, so this eclipse happens just before the moon reaches perigee. And so it's, as Brian Ventrudo, who wrote our article about it, says, the moon appears nearly as large as it ever gets. And so we have some more details in this issue of Sky News. I'm sorry that it's kind of blacking out there. There's a good view. So we have a little bit of information about what a lunar eclipse actually is. And we also have the lunar eclipse map at the bottom of the page. There. Just to show where in Canada you'll be able to see it. And there are also some viewing and imaging tips there. And again, just kind of like the reasoning, like why during totality, it's called a blood moon because the moon turns red. And so why that happens? It's a result of the residual sunlight scattered forward through the Earth's atmosphere and reflected back to us. And because blue light scatters more strongly, red light reaches the moon. And it's, I think it was once Alan Dyer who might have said it's like the sun sets. It's basically the moon turns red because for the same reason that we see sunsets as red. And Brian says the same thing. So yeah, that's as usual as well. We've got information about the different phases of the moon in our sky events of the Canada's Night Sky for charts. So yeah, pick up your latest issue of Sky News for more information about the upcoming lunar eclipse.
Well, have you seen a lunar eclipse, or how many lunar eclipses have you seen?
A few. I've been chasing eclipses for some time. Let's see. Couldn't tell you exactly how many. But yeah, like I think the first one that I imaged was in Athabasca, Alberta. And that was after I'd gotten myself a longer lens. I didn't take any great shots, but I did manage to take a few that I could publish in the newspaper I was working at the time, which was my goal. I remember I had to traipse through the forests. I knew the relatively good spots around town to take pictures. And yeah, I was like traipsing through the snow. It was something like -30, and it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. Oh, it was pretty grumpy. This one that's coming up is a great eclipse for the fact that you don't have to stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning to see it. At least not here in Ontario. So that's me. So I'm happy with the timing of this eclipse.
Same. I actually, again, this comes where I'm a still learning astronomer, and part of my favorite thing of hanging out with the RAS people all day is to learn more things. It'll be my first lunar eclipse, so I'm really hoping it's not cloudy, and it's at a good time that I'll stay up to see. At least I probably won't stay the whole 4 hours, but I want to see at least totality, which is around midnight, right? So other than let your kids stay up a little later to see it if you're in the totality, and if you're out west, you can see the partial if your horizon is clear enough at a reasonable time as well in the evening.
In the west, they'll actually, I do believe that the eclipse will rise. And then so you'll see a blood moon rising. So
that sounds like some ritual.
Yeah, or song. It's so it's yeah.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that. I also want to share, as everybody doesn't know, if you go to ras.ca/Artemis parties, we have, and then click on the tab Discover the Moon. We have tons of moon resources. We've amalgamated all of our Explore the Universe and all of our Explore the Moon lists, all the resources that you got for, that we gave for our Moon at Noon series. We've linked that there, as well as maps for every single lunar day and easy targets to see with a telescope, and a lot of them with binoculars. And we also have linked our one of our other Artemis events, which was Sketching with Bettina Forget, amazing artist. She has a whole series of craters named after a woman, and she taught us how to sketch craters in a half an hour, and as well as other crater reference videos as well. So if you ever have any questions, you can always contact us, but check online there for that. Now we're going to have another reflection video. This is actually, if people at the beginning of, this is from the night that I took my sister's partner out to use his telescope for the first time in half a decade, and what he thought about the moon. And then we are going to tune in live to RAS Montreal. So RAS Montreal, here is your minute warning, and then we'll follow by Chris Kerwin.
I'm Aaron. I own the telescope. We were just looking at the moon earlier. It was really cool. I'm personally excited to see people go back on it because that means eventually we can set up a moon base there, and just there's so many applications in terms of science, both astronomical and medicinal. Medical science that can go on there to study the effects of zero gravity or low gravity on the human body. Honestly, it's a really cool opportunity to finally be able to go back on the moon.
So thank you, Erin, for sharing that. I really hope we can go out more this year and see the moon and have some nice clear nights. Okay, Kareem is here. I'm going to two people here from Rask. Sorry, I need to find the person. I'm assuming Kareem, I'm going to promote you to panelist. Let me know if I have to promote anybody else. We have Kareem from Rask Montreal, who, whether he admits it or not, he was one of the masterminds behind this whole event, and then been helping me organize it. Kareem, ready to go?
Ready to go. Hi everyone, welcome to Montreal Center. And what I've done is I've taken our entire day's program and I've created a share for you. And I hope you enjoy. I hope this goes smoothly. It's always tough with video, but we have volunteers eating and we have such a huge crowd outside that it would be really hard to do anything in person. So let's give this a try. Fingers crossed. Astrofest 2022 at the Rio Tinto Alcan Planetarium. We are really excited for the program today. We've got lots and lots of activities, 20 partners giving us a ton of astronomy outreach, including we've got workshops on mirrors, we've got workshops on satellites, we've got workshops on rockets, we've got workshops on the actual astrophysics and astronomy, solar observing, and then we've got observing of moon and stars and deep sky objects tonight, including a lot of EAA, electronically assisted astronomy. We've got lots of people coming throughout the day. We hope you'll enjoy. We're going to give you a snapshot of the entire day over the next little bit. Thanks for joining us. This is the RASC Montreal Center. And Gabby, science yourself, no G's about it. Why are you excited about going back to the moon?
Personally, I'm really excited that the first woman and person of color are going to be going back to the moon. Yeah, I'm really happy because it's been already 50 years since a person has been on the moon. It's about time.
This looks like such a fun, exciting activity. Can't wait to see it. IREX coordinator and our RASC GA presenter. Can you tell us, why are you excited about the Artemis missions?
I'm really excited about the Artemis mission because the moon is something that we interact with on a daily basis. But we're going to have that sentiment like they had during the Apollo missions, where we're going to get to look up again and say, there are people there. And I hear so many stories from people of that generation saying they had that feeling, but that's been gone for generations. We're going to get to experience that in just a few years.
Well, that's fantastic. And just like our RASC Creation Station, IREX has kids using their imagination to picture solar systems from all across the galaxy. And so this is fantastic to see. Tell us about your love of the moon.
So something about the moon.
Why are you excited about humanity going back to the moon?
So we gotta clean up the mess we left the last time. Think of all the stuff they left there. A couple of lander modules, a rover, golf clubs. Come on, pick up your pieces.
What do you love about sharing, observing with people during the day with the sun and during the evening with the moon?
I think that people are surprised that you can actually look at the sun, and they are also interested in the sunspots, and just sharing my love of astronomy with people.
And what about sketching the moon? Why do you do that?
It helps me to observe. You have to observe very carefully when you're sketching, and also I love drawing, so that's good.
But Normand has his wonderful telescope set up on the moon up there. You can just see it up there, the nice quarter moon that's risen nicely because we are in the late afternoon. And of course, the quarter moon rises right around midday. Rask Ambassador and Astrolabe Extraordinaire, tell us about your moon excitement and interest.
So the moon for me is my introduction to astronomy. I was born just after the moon landings, the last moon landings, and I'm looking for the day that we will go back. But meanwhile, all I can do is look at it, so that's what I've been doing for as long as I can remember.
From the CSA, why are you excited about the Artemis missions?
I'm excited about it because it'll mean that a Canadian astronaut gets to circumnavigate the moon for the first time.
Woohoo! Night sky and looking at the moon.
Well, it's the most amazing thing that nature can give us. You can see that the night sky can give you a lot of thoughts. You can be calm. You can be look at wonderful things in the sky. Even just a comet or whatever it appears is so beautiful. You can see all the pictures for the astrophotographers. You can see all the galaxies, nebulas, everything that offer our system. And you can see that we are just tiny, tiny, tiny in a big universe.
We have a beautiful bright moon above the Olympic Stadium. You can see out here we have a wonderful crowd, not only lined up to take a look at the first quarter moon, but also enjoying the Q&A that's being live broadcast on the screen. And we have lots and lots of people waiting for this star and moon party that's going to happen in a little bit. We saw that there's music that's going to come in between. Beautiful live view of the moon here through Normand Fulham's optics in a nice little telescope made. I'll zoom out in a moment so you can see it. Take a look through. Beautiful, beautiful design.
Merci infiniment d'être venu ici. Merci encore.
And so we're looking forward to enjoying that for the rest of the night. Thank you from Montreal.
Thank you so much for sharing, Kareem. This makes me so jealous. I want to be there with you all. I haven't been
We
to
have
like,
had such an amazing day. It's been incredible.
and thank you for putting. I feel like it's Inception. Like we were, we were just there, and now we're in the video. And Oh, it's been so much fun. We hope you have a great rest of your day. I need to come down for the next Astrofest.
Definitely. Definitely. You and
And I
Alondra
need to
both.
come
We'll do
hang
it
out.
live from here.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I will see you online later. Bye.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone.
So we have Chris Kerwin next. Chris, let me know if you are not prepared. I need to change the role to attendee. Chris. Oh, I missed. Who did I miss? I don't think we see him. I lost him. Okay, let me know if you're here. If not, we are going to move on. So notice Kareem mentioned something about Creation Station. Oh, I pinned Alondra, but not myself. Sorry.
Pinned me as I was yawning, I hope.
This is live, folks. So, Kareem mentioned something about Creation Station. And so, last year we had this program open to children ages 5 to 12 to submit anything that they could submit to us virtually. Well, it was mostly comics, poems, pictures, drawings, stories, and it's a bilingual program. We accepted French and English submissions, and we are opening up again this year. But before we launch it for this year, I would like to share some of the creations we saw last year in a nice video. If you were at our GA last year, you would recognize some of these. So we hope you like those wonderful creations. If we have some young people in this group, we have opened up our age group from 5 to 17, but maybe you're not, if you're a little bit younger than that and have a wonderful creation you want to send into, feel free to do that as well. This year, we are actually opening submissions to you can make videos, multimedia, you can make music. That music you heard in the background was actually Kareem's son, I'm pretty sure, that wrote it. We are accepting anything you can send to us digitally. You just need your parents or guardians' permission to be able to sign the media release form, just so we can, and still submit it with a Google Doc. We also will have coming up, as of Monday, we will have all of the forms up and ready to submit. So start making your creations. We are going to feature some of these creations again at the General Assembly. And Alondra, can you let them know what Sky News is doing in September with Creation Station?
Well, we're going to be running a couple of the entries. So that's exciting for everybody who enters. You could end up in Sky News.
So you could end up in print. You could end up at our General Assembly. You could end up on our social media. You could be Rask famous for sharing your stuff. I just love the creativity that comes out. We've had mixed media things, and I really hope you, the young youth in our society, will submit it at rask.ca/creation station. I will have everything ready and open on Monday, but it starts today for you to start getting those creation ready. And it looks like we actually have Chris. He psyched me out by changing his name just to Chris. But we're going to promote him to panelist. And then he should be able to turn on his video. There we go. Chris, let me know if you have any issues. I'm going to add pin. You're going to be a pinned. Chris? We'll see if this is working. I'm gonna ask to start video and ask to unmute. He's on his phone. This is a new experiment for everybody. In general, while we're waiting, now we've yeah, okay.
Hey.
Hello, Chris.
Hi.
I'm gonna spotlight you.
Okay.
How are you?
Evening.
And from? Let everybody know.
Now, I am in my backyard looking at the moon at the moment. Good evening, everybody. I'm just trying to find out how I switch screens, though. That might take me a moment.
You're on your phone?
I am on my phone. Yes, first time on the phone.
I think it's up in the right corner and it's switch camera view. Are you looking for camera view or screen?
So let's see me in the right corner. And I'm trying to click on me. It's not changing anything, of course, because it's live. I'm in St. John, New Brunswick, Tim. In my backyard, listening to the peepers here.
You got.
Oh, there we go. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I think I got it. 1 second. That might be it.
Oh, we see something. That's not your face anymore.
But it's not my face anymore. Okay, but it should be the moon. So I'm just going to need a second here.
That nasty moon, like
I'm gonna lift the phone off the holder for a second to make sure I get stuck at the moon eyepiece. Because while I was waiting here, I think it moved a little bit. It did.
That's the funny thing. I don't think a lot of people realize is how fast the sky actually moves.
It moves very quickly. Okay, let me get back to where I was. And not sure what the moon isn't showing up, but I know it's there. Look, all this time waiting, and it was always in my eyepiece.
I'm sorry, I didn't promote you earlier.
Oh, it's good. There. Oh, there it is. Hang on.
Wonderful.
Let's do this up a little bit. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm using my cell phone. I'm in St. John, New Brunswick. I've got lots of peepers here in my backyard that are really enjoying the spring weather, like me. And I'm in St. John, New Brunswick. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm part of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, of course. And I'm the social media creator and administrator of the pages called Astronomy by the Bay. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Great. I just don't know with this phone. This is kind of neat though, but can't seem to zoom in much more than that. So what happened tonight, of course, is I had everything all set up for webcam, completely set up, and about 10 minutes before I was ready to join, everything quit. So I went back to my old faithful, which is usually what I do for live feeds on a regular basis for people that join on through Facebook and YouTube. I'm still trying to get focused here properly.
Okay, while you do that, can you tell us what you do, how often you do live streams with Astronomy by the Bay?
Sure. So the page is Astronomy by the Bay. It's on YouTube and Facebook, also Instagram now. I'm a little slow with the Instagram part, but it's coming along. But I usually go live a couple of times a week at least, offering views of the moon and planets. Usually that's all I can get with my phone. Right now I'm using an Astrotech AT 72mm ED refractor telescope. So it's about a 3.5-inch telescope sitting on a Celestron SE mount. I'm on my back porch or my back deck. I have a battery pack plugged into my telescope. I'm using a 40mm eyepiece. And there's what's called a Celestron XYZ adapter. So it's an adapter that clamps around the eyepiece and allows you to show, set a phone inside the holder. And this is always a great object for the public. So the other place I usually set up is a place called Saints Rest Beach, which is here in St. John. It's just outside our urban nature park. And the urban nature park is one of the urban dark sky parks in Canada. So I set up there quite often. But over the last couple of years, of course, it's been pretty difficult with everything going on. I'm just about to start back to that setup again. I do a lot of classroom presentations now. Most of it has been virtual over the last couple of years. But I presented to 35 classrooms last week during a nice session. So that's kind of nice because you can't get to present to that many at once if you weren't doing it virtually. But it's been a great opportunity for me to be able to introduce other people to the wonders of the night sky, and especially the moon. We also have a Sunday night astronomy show program. It's now simulcasting on Facebook and YouTube. Locally, it's on our Rogers TV network as well now. So it's myself, other RASP members, Mike Powell and Paul Owen. Paul's, of course, is from Hampton. He's a local astrophotographer, and Mike is our Mike Guyver guy. He's a guy who can fix just about anything on a fly. So the three of us get together on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Atlantic time on YouTube and Facebook, and we offer talks on the night sky. We started out the program basically because we're going to offer live streams like this of galaxies and star clusters and stuff. But if you live in the Maritimes, you get to understand pretty quickly that the skies aren't always clear. Very seldom do you get a Sunday night that's not cloudy. Actually, we've been running our show now for a little over 2 years, about 100 episodes, a little bit more than 100 now, I guess. And we've only had 2 clear nights out of the 100. So we had to come up with a different plan. So the plan was basically to talk a lot about telescopes and astronomy equipment, and it's all for beginners. So we encourage people to join us live and comment and interact with us, on a regular basis throughout the 1 hour or 1 hour-ish kind of show. We have little segments out throughout the show that we offer. We usually do a discussion at the first. It's just more like a maritime kitchen party kind of thing, talking about astronomy. And then we get into binocular targets of the week that we suggest, or what's up in the sky this week, and astrophotography tips, that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun, but we just kept very, very informal, and love everybody to join.
Thank you for sharing this. I'm starting to see some craters in this moon too, I think.
Starting to, yeah. I think it's the video probably too.
For sure. Before tell us what you are most excited about this whole stage of exploration.
Oh, I mean, what not to be excited about? I mean, the whole thing about Artemis is just, it's amazing to think. I mean, I'll date myself now, but I remember watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon, and stepped outside my door and looked up and said, wow, they're up there today. So it was an amazing time back when we were racing the Russians to the moon. But I mean, I'm hoping that we get the same interest again, and it seems like it's taking right off. I mean, kids today really want to know about it. When I'm doing talks in classrooms and things, it's a real interest because it's our next step. Logically, we have to go to the moon before we go anywhere else. We have to learn how to survive in space, and we have to do that on the moon. It's the closest place to us, and it makes logical sense for us to go back there now to excite the next generation of astronomers and scientists. And I'm very excited about the whole thing myself. I can't wait.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the moon view. I was worried we wouldn't get a live view of the moon with all these clouds rolling in. But for some reason, apparently cloudy New Brunswick came in clutch today.
Just for you.
So thank you so much for sharing. We hope you have a great rest of your day observing and have a great International Astronomy Day. Any last things you want to share before we sign off?
I just want to wish everybody clear skies and enjoy that moon. Thank you.
So we are going to show one last reflection video. I'm just going to move Chris away. Change role attendee. And we'll bring us back. And then we're going to show a reflection video again from this time. It was one of our most recent Creation Station submissions. And then Rask Ottawa, if you can hear me, you are up very soon. They're having star parties there. We gotta give them some warning.
Moon, moon, moon. the moon. Look out, it's the moon. Look out, it's the moon. Look out, it's the moon in the sky. It's big and round, and I have found that it looks just like a pizza pie.
Thank you, Amelia, for sharing that with you. With us. We need to get you in a recording studio so we can have it on as like a background for a creation station or moon thing. I love the song. Okay, Andrea, you're up. We are going to promote you. And oh, there we go.
Aha!
Oh.
There we are. Okay. Oh, look, there we are. So we are here. Oh, what did I do?
You had it.
There we go. So hello, everybody. I'm Andrea. I'm here in Ottawa. I'm here with Allison, who has been my assistant today at International Astronomy Day. I don't know if you can hear, but
Is the connection bad?
No. I'm holding my iPad and I think I keep pressing a button. So I'm going to see if I can flip the view around. Do you know how to do that? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, gosh, you have a huge crowd.
So this is where we are in Ottawa. We are at the chapter's parking lot and we have been here since 8 a.m. We have been doing solar observing. We have been doing lunar observing, and we have had tremendous crowds.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so this is Allison, and Allison, what did you think? It was her first astronomy day from beginning to end. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it was good. I met lots of people and I handed out a lot of things. It was good, long, but fun.
Yeah, it was a long day. Now we're going to go and look at just a few of the imagers here. Hang on, I'm going to flip it around again. So we have a lot of people who are looking at the moon through a telescope, but also on a computer. So I'm going to go see if we can find some of those. All right, what have we got? Richard, have you found the moon? No, there's no moon here. Not yet.
Oh no, we lost the moon.
As you can see, we have Pierre's large Dobsonian. Pierre, what kind of telescope is this?
Well, this is my 12.5-inch Dobsonian. There's a bit of a lineup with my telescope, but we're having really good views of the moon.
All right, so these are all the people lined up to view through Pierre's. Is it 12-inch? I don't even know if you guys can hear me.
I heard now we hear you perfectly clearly. Hello,
all right, now we're going to go look at Jim's photos of the moon. He's doing electronically assisted astronomy.
This is kind of a middle.
This is Jim. He is our lunar expert here in Ottawa. I'm just going to sneak in, folks. We're just doing a little live Zoom here. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. The other side.
And as you can see,
Larger scope, larger focal length, you can see things much
we are
larger.
definitely seeing some amazing views of the moon. Thank you, Jim, for showing us this.
Oh, I can see my favorite crater set there.
You see your favorite crater? Which one is that?
The dumbbell, and then like cool one.
Is that the dumbbell?
It's a donut.
Anyway.
I know
there
that's
we
not
go.
the name of the crater.
And we're getting everything wrapped up here. And yeah, so as you can see, though, we are doing astronomy from the city. So really the only thing we can see is the moon. But in the end, I'm going to flip back. In the end, I think everybody was really happy to get to see a bit of the moon and learn a bit of astronomy and ask questions. We've had a lot of people come with their telescopes, and they've also learned how to set up their telescope. And as you can see, well, we have lots of children here, and they're enjoying themselves, and we're having a really good time here. So, but we've been pretty busy, so I'm going to get back to it.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I wish I was there. I need to like separate myself and be at all these parties at once. I hope you have continue to have some great views of the moon, and have a great rest of your night.
Okay, thank you. I can hardly hear you. So you guys have a good time too. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. And I am going to give, Belinda, do you mind seeing if our Winnipeg people are in the chat, and they're going to be coming up very soon. I'm trying to change role to attendance. Just send them a message. Oh, did I lose Alundria? Hopefully she comes back. Oh my gosh, I demoted Alundria. How dare I? Okay, sorry about that. Gonna pin you. While I show this next video, can you just make sure our Winnipeg people, and they will be our final view of the night. But for now we have Tim Jaworski sharing his feelings about the moon and the Apollo missions and what's coming up next. And greetings coming from Rask, Saskatoon Center. Let me just get this started for everybody.
Hi there, it's Tim, your living sky guy from the Paris of the Prairies, beautiful Saskatoon, and greetings from the 80-plus members of the Saskatoon Centre of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. It is indeed a pleasure to join you tonight on this very special national event. We're talking about the moon. And let me start off right from the beginning. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the moon. So let's start with the love. The moon is what got me involved in astronomy, but not specifically the moon. Two men, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, in July of 1969, as they were descending down the ladder to the lunar surface. An 8-year-old Tim, living in Menadosa, Manitoba, was huddled around the television with his family and the neighbors. The blinds were drawn. It was a brand new black and white TV for the event, and I was watching something historic happening. And looking at the TV set, I couldn't have told you what was happening, because in rural Manitoba in 1969, television meant a big antenna on your roof, and if the weather was good, you had good reception, and if you didn't, you were looking at a gray and white blob, not really understanding what it was you were seeing. And that was what was happening to me. I knew something special was happening, but I didn't really have an appreciation for it. Now, within a few years, though, I had a greater appreciation and a love for all things to do with space, specifically Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. And I immersed myself in everything I could around those particular missions. And the most cherished possessions I had at the time were a collection of 33 1/3 vinyl records that had audio and narration from Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. And I played those over and over and over again. I wore the grooves out on them. Like all of you out there, I'm sure I started out with that little refracting telescope from Tasco and started pointing it at those easy things to view, like the moon and some of the planets and things like that. And that's what sparked me to my lifelong love of the night sky. Now, that's the love part of the moon. Well, the hate part of the moon, I'd say hate's a strong word, but more of a agree to disagree part of the moon happens to be with the type of astronomy I'm involved in now in my later years, which is astrophotography, specifically wide field as well as deep sky photography. And for me, the moon is my sworn enemy. For about 10 to 14 days a month, I am plagued by that bright moon washing out my faint stars and washing out my deep sky objects. And I despise the moon on those nights. Now, that's what the moon means to me. Now, as a club, our local RASC center have been using the moon as a way to reach out, to share our love and our excitement of the night sky with people. And we put together a program that we like to call Random Acts of Astronomy. And what's the whole idea about Random Acts of Astronomy? It's being able to show up in a public location, unannounced, usually around that first quarter moon, set up some telescopes on a trail, in a park, on a street in downtown, and point our telescopes at that first quarter moon and invite people as they're walking by to say, hey, you want to take a look at the moon? I would say less than about 5% of the people will say, no thanks, and walk on their way. 90 to 95% of them will stop and say, what do you mean? Why are you looking at the moon? What's happening? And we just say, we want to share this view with you. The reactions are absolutely priceless. Now, as astronomers, we take the moon for granted. We've probably looked at the moon through our telescopes thousands of times. We might have studied individual craters or rills or mountain ranges. Now, for the person who has never looked at the moon through even binoculars, let alone through a telescope, the joy and the beauty on their face and in their voice is indescribable. When they put their eye to the eyepiece and suddenly they're jumping back and like, whoa, it's huge. And they start to look at those details. They look at the craters. They look at the shadows along the terminator. And it's just priceless to watch their reactions. And it's amazing to be able to share it. And it opens up so many incredible conversations. Not only about what the telescopes are, but what else do you see with your telescopes? Why do you do what you do? It's a chance to be able to talk to people about your own enthusiasm for the night sky, but also to talk about things that matter to people, things like light pollution and the impact of urban lighting and rural lighting and the types of lighting and how it can impact not only our views of the night sky, but also how it impacts wildlife, how it impacts human beings with their sleep patterns and their whole mental well-being. It opens up so many different ways of being able to talk about your enthusiasm and share your enthusiasm of the night sky with people. So if you haven't tried Random Acts of Astronomy in your center, I highly recommend it. It's very easy to do. We don't do any sort of promotion. It's not a case of, we're going to be here on this date from this time to this time. Please show up. Because, of course, with anything with astronomy, it's always weather dependent. We always pick a date, usually a Friday or Saturday night, somewhere around that first quarter moon, and we just show up unannounced. And watching the people as they come by and enjoying their views, when they pull out their cell phones and hold it up the eyepiece to try to take a photograph of it, and they're sharing it in their social media, and when they not only come, but they come back again and they bring friends back with them. It's just an amazing feeling. Now, why am I so excited about Artemis? Well, for me, it's a chance for a do-over. 8-year-old Tim in 1969 didn't necessarily understand the impact of what he was seeing in that fuzzy black and white image. But 60-year-old Tim is going to be able to understand it. And not only that, 60-year-old Tim is going to be sitting down with his 5-year-old and 2-year-old granddaughters and sharing that joy with them as well. And they're going to be able to see and understand better what I saw in 1969. And be able to watch the future of humankind as we reach out once more and put footsteps where we've been before as a stepping stone beyond that. So Artemis, thank you very much for what you're going to be able to bring to that whole new generation of excitement and beauty and joy and interest in what's happening off our planet. It's been a pleasure spending a few minutes with you, and thank you very much for the opportunity to do that. Clear skies, everyone, and enjoy the rest of our evening.
Thank you so much, Tim, for sharing that video with us. I loved seeing your grandchildren being so excited about the sky, and I totally agree. Like, as I said, I hope people will finally like be excited about space travel. This is a whole new age, and it's just a stepping stone for what we're going to be able to do in the future for deep space travel. Alendria, do you have any final thoughts about Artemis before?
No, I don't think so.
Or international astronomy? What are your plans for
I think that like all this talk of observing the moon, like when I mentioned that I went out and was observing this past week, like I took my cousin with me, and she had never seen the moon through a telescope. And it was everybody, it was funny because like when Tim was talking about that, it's like everybody that I've shown the moon to, it's like that moment, that eye-popping, like, wow, we are a part of something bigger than just, you know, the things that are happening here. Like this is a big universe out there. It's just giving people that little bit of clarity, right? And so anything to do that, I think Artemis will give us a little bit more clarity as well as to what's out there in the universe. Though we're sending a few select people, hopefully it benefits all of us in some way.
So I 100% agree. This is a new age, and all you science communicators out there, this is our chance to shine and make this whole next generation super excited and just share our passion. And this is not the end of our celebrations. We really appreciate you spending this International Astronomy Day with us. It's been 2.5 hours. You are still here. It's been an adventure. I love being able to reach across the province. We are still accepting submissions. If you have views of the moon, you can go ras.ca/Artemis parties. There's a lot of different stuff to find there on there. We were going follow us on RASC on social media, on Instagram. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we will be sharing. We have Moon Mondays coming up, which we'll be sharing facts about the moon and things about the Artemis mission that is happening over the next 2 months. And we're going to have alerts for when we know more things about what is happening with Artemis 1. And as at the end, this is just the beginning. We are going to have Sky News articles. It's going to be written throughout this whole mission time, because I know this is a hot topic for Alendria and everybody here. So just stick with us, and let's as everything opens up, start looking at the skies. And all I can wish everybody is clear skies and happy International Astronomy Day. I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for coming. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.